What's going on? Ventric here. Yesterday, I recorded and released my Kaldheim Prerelease kit opening, and fellow YouTuber Pawz Brown posed the question of what deck would I build? So I thought about it, and I went through my cards, and I went through my process of building a deck, and I would come to you today and show you what I built. So when I'm building decks for sealed, I follow the bread principle, which is the B stands for bombs. You need to have some bombs in your deck. You need stuff that's gonna win the game if your opponent cannot deal with it. The R stands for removal. You need removal. You need to deal with your opponent's bombs. If you can't deal with their bombs, they're going to beat you. The E stands for evasion. So you want things like flying, menace, can't be blocked, ways of pushing damage that they cannot stop. The A stands for abilities. You want your cards to have abilities. So they're not just vanilla creatures. They can do something else aside from swing with further power and toughness. And lastly, the D is dirt or discard it. You don't want to deal with it. So what I have here is you're going to build a 40 card deck. And typically you're going to want 16 to 17 lands based on your curve. In my case, I'm going with 17 lands. So that means I have 23 creatures or spells. Generally, you want 13 to 15 creatures, 8 to 10 spells. So in my case, I went with 13 creatures and 10 spells, and I'm going to go through them for you. Generally, what I'll do first is I will lay out all my cards. I'll sort them by color, go through each color, go through that process of determining what is good, and then pare it down to which colors I think are the best, get rid of the colors I don't like, and then put them down on the table, look at my curve. In this case, I went Boros. I went red-white. But my initial plan was to go red-blue when I saw the cards. But when I laid them out, the curve was horrible. There was no 1-drops. There was 1 3-drop. So I had to scrap it and go with a red-white build that had a much better curve and I think is a much better, more cohesive deck in the end. So let's start off. First off, we've got Battlefield Raptor. So Battlefield Raptor is flying, first strike. So we got our abilities, we got our evasion. Discord's going off on my phone. It's a 1/2 flyer for 1. So we're playing that for sure. Next, we've got the Code Spell Cleric. It's another 1-drop again. It's a 1/1 with Vigilance, so it's got an ability. It doesn't have to tap to attack, but it also allows me to put a +1/+1 counter on another target creature I control if this was the second spell I played in a turn. So late game, it can help pump up some other creatures. Story Seeker. This is a 2/2 lifelink for 2. It's a bear with lifelink. Lifelink is great. Sometimes you win or lose a game by 1 life. That helps get you there. Next is Frenzied Raider. It's a 2/2 for 2. Another bear, but whenever I activate a boast ability on one of my other creatures, it gets a +1/+1 counter. So it has upside. Now this is our bomb. The Dragonkin Berserker. It's a 2/2 first striker for 2. My boast abilities cost 1 less cats if I have a dragon. I don't have any other dragons in my deck, spoiler alert. But guess what? He makes dragons. So I cast him, and if I have 5 mana the next turn, I'm probably not attacking if he's gonna risk dying until I can activate that, get myself a 5/5 dragon. So yeah, that's he's a bomb. He makes bombs. Next, we just got some 2/2 flyers for 3. Artifacts and enchantment spells cost 1 less to cast. I'm off the camera there. Sorry about that. The Starnhelm Courser. That's going to be relevant because we have some enchantments. We have some artifacts. We have another one of those. Then we got the Scorn Effigy. Now, a 2/3 for 3 doesn't seem that good, but he foretells for 0. And you can foretell him for 2, to cast him for 2. So really, he's a 2/3, 2-drop, because you're always going to just foretell him for 0. Early in the game. Late in the game, if you have extra mana, you cast him for 3. But early game, you can play him turn 0, turn 1, and cast him on turn 2 for that foretell cost of 2. Then we got a Breakneck Berserker. It's a 3/2 haste. Sometimes haste will get just punching some damage there. Unexpected damage. Next, we got Axgard Braggart. He's a 3/3 for 4. A little overcosted for his things, but his boast ability is he gets a +1/+1 counter and he untaps. So you're going to cast him on turn 4, maybe turn 3 if you have some ramp. And then when you attack with him, he's going to be a 4/4. Next 4-drop is a Craven Hulk. Can't block alone. Oh well. He's a 4/4 beater for 4. He's gonna do some work for you. Next we got Master Scald. He's a 4/4 for 5. It's a little costly, but when he enters the battlefield, you exile a creature card from your graveyard, and you can return an artifact or enchantment. We have some good artifact or enchantments. We want to return those, so he makes a cut. Then we got Cinderheart Giant. He's pricey. He's beefy. He is a 7-drop, but he's a 7/6 with trample, and when he dies, he deals 7 damage to a random creature an opponent controls. But 7/6 trample, he can just win you the game if they do not have an answer for him. Now we get into our spells. Our first enchantment goes great with our Master Skald, is Bounding Gold. Creature can't attack, block, crew vehicles, or activate abilities. So great removal. Then we got Iron Verdict. More removal. More cheap removal with Foretell. 5 damage to a tap creature. Shackles of Treachery. You get to steal one of their creatures for a turn. Give it haste. Attack with it. And if it had equipment on it, destroy it. So again, this can just win you the game sometimes out of the blue. They got a blocker. They're like, this blocker is going to protect me. Yeah, you steal their blocker. Game over. Provoke the Trolls. Now, this card does double duty. We've got 2 of them. So Provoke the Trolls deals 3 damage to any target. And if a creature is dealt damage this way, gets +5/+0 till end of turn. So we can kill their stuff that has less than 3 toughness. But wait, there's more. Coldheart Giant. 7/6 Trampler. Guess what? Do it to yourself. It's now a 12 Trampler with 3 damage. So if they have a blocker, but a lot of times 12 Trample is either going to wipe their board or kill them. So we've got that combo either way. We're either using it as removal or using it as pump spell. Then we got a couple Squashes. Squashes deals 6 damage to target creature or planeswalker. That pretty much kills everything in most things in the format people are going to have. It's kind of pricey. It costs 5. But if you have a giant, it only costs 2. And as you can see, we got a couple giants here. Giant. Not a lot there, but we've got a card coming up that's going to make this way better. The synergies with this, just off the chart. We got Raider's Carve. It's a vehicle. 3/3 or 4/4 for 3, crew 3. But when it attacks, you look at the top card of your library. If it's a land, put it into play. So it either A, ramps you early in the game, not early, I guess turn 4, it can start ramping you, or it's thinning your deck later, so you're only going to draw gas and not lands when you need to draw something. So that's a great card there. And then we've got some ramp here. We got Replication Ring. The key thing is add 1 mana of any color for 3. It does like grow, and eventually you're going to get a ton of mana that we don't really have a mana sink for in the end of the day. So that's not it. It's just more mana to get us quicker. And the last card, as I mentioned earlier, is gonna synergize with our with our Squashes, is our Maskwood Nexus. Creatures you control are every creature type. The same is true for all creature cards you control anywhere off the battlefield. But then, so that's great. It helps synergize with our Squashes, but it also gives us every turn we can create a 2/2 Shapeshifter. So we can keep putting pressure on the board. We can keep putting chump blockers on the board every turn to help keep us alive until we get to something huge. So that is the deck. We have 13 creatures. We have 10 spells. Mana base, 17 lands. And when I do my mana base, I'm looking at how many pips generally, how many of each card. So pips for white, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 white pips. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 red pips. So we're gonna need more red mana, especially since we got a double red here. And I know we want to make sure we have white early because there are 1-drops. But we also have some red 2-drops. So what I would do here is I would go 9 mountains and 8 plains. We don't have to worry about whether we drafted any or whether we opened any snow because we have nothing here that synergizes with snow. So we're not worried about snow. There you have it. Deck has a great curve. 2 1-drops, 3 2-drops, 4 3-drops, 2 4-drops, 1 5-drop, 1 7-drop. We've got some ramp. That's all I have to say. Hope you guys learned something. Hope you enjoyed this video. Post something in the comments if you did. Like, subscribe. Till next time, as always, be safe and have fun.